battle in the second half. So talk about how the team persevered through that second half, the great defensive performance, and what you saw out there today in the first half.
Well, we played really well in the first half, and I was excited to get 24 points on that defense, and that's a tough thing to do. That's a good football team, offensively and defensively, and for our guys to go out and score that many points and shut them out in the first half was tremendous. We knew that they would have some very good adjustments coming out in the third quarter, and they came out, put some pressure on us on offense, and we missed a few throws. If we make them, we probably get some drives going, but our defense held in there and came up big when we needed it. And offensively, we just couldn't get anything going in the second half. And also, you know, as a play caller, you can't screw things up either. You can't panic in a game like that, and just because you're not driving the ball, getting first downs, putting points up there. We have a great defense, and the number one goal as a head coach and a play caller is you win the ball game. You make sure you got more points than them in the end. So I probably am a little bit to blame, a little bit more conservative until the end. And we threw the ball late and got a good one to Ben, and unfortunately penalties stopped us from scoring there. And then the last drive we threw the ball on first down, and after that it was the John Wynn show. But proud of our players. I'm really excited because I get to work another week, and we get these seniors to stay around and see their faces tomorrow in the team meeting, and the 2015 team is still together and live and kicking.
Coach, you mentioned conservative there, but how much faith do you guys have in the defense when it starts to get a little tighter like that in this team?
No, you have to have, you know, and they've been doing it all year, and you know you got to be smart with the plays that you call, and we had some that were open and we just missed them, and then you got to think about, hey, let's try to shorten the game a little bit. We're just not sharp, and let our defense win it for us. And then you get to the end, and we're backed up inside our 10, and we took a chance, and Brady threw a beautiful ball to Ben, and that was a great drive to eat up some clock and change the field position.
Could you talk about the last drive? I mean, what had happened in the previous 25 minutes to make you think that you could just run out the clock like that?
Well, the first down we threw it and had a nice completion, and then our O-line just decided they wanted to win the ball game, and John did a great job of running with it, and then Brady had a nice throw off of a run play. I'd called a run play, and he threw a nice one to Jamal on the into the boundary. But it was a great drive, you know, and you need those to win big ball games. You know, that's number 12 team in the country. That's just not another team. That's a good football team we beat out there.
Josh, career day for you. What was working there in the first half for you?
Just all week long, we kind of thought that we could take advantage of the middle of the defense a little bit, and then just early on we were able to do that. Just running crossing routes over the middle. Kind of thought they were a little susceptible there, and just able to take advantage of that.
John, what's changed the last particularly 3 weeks, for you in the run game?
I think it's our offensive line doing a great job opening the holes. I think it's our offensive line doing a great job stepping up and opening the holes for me. I think our offensive line is doing a great job being consistent, doing it every single play, and doing it every single game that we had so far. But I think that's the main reason why the rushing game's been going.
How much fun was it to get to help close the game out? Have it on your shoulders and basically know you're getting the ball and you have a chance to run the clock out.
It's really fun just to have the ball in my hands. I'm grateful that Coach Stitt has faith in me for me to hold on to the ball and really kind of end the game in my hands. But it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
John, was anything said in the huddle before you guys went out for that last drive?
Just all the players and offensive line receivers were all saying, let's end it. Let's end it right now. It's time to move on to the next week.
Tyrone, a dominant first half of the defense, second half couple big plays, still decent in the second half. But did they do anything different offensively that you saw that caused you some problems there in the third, fourth quarter?
Well, I think it's just that in the second half they made some of the big plays that they didn't get in the first half. I mean, they took those shots in the first half, they just didn't make them. And I think that the biggest difference was in the second half they made some of those catches, and that was the difference.
Can you talk about the quarterback being able to get some rushing lanes in the second half?
Yeah, sure. I mean, he's a talented athlete, and we knew coming into the game that we were going to have to try to keep him in the pocket and try to contain him. And yeah, I mean, it was a big challenge.
Did you feel him getting frustrated though with your guys' pass rush as the game went on?
I mean, I wasn't like talking to him or anything, but I hope so.
Tyrone, when you guys can, even when they've got a star receiver like they do, and you can put JR and Nate one-on-one, how much does that change and help everything else you guys are doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge because we have two really good corners, and I mean, our whole secondary can play. So I mean, it's big time when we can contain a really big time receiver like that.
Coach, you mentioned the penalty after long pass to Ben. Kind of took you out of scoring position. There were quite a few penalties today. What do you need to do to clean those up, and what do you attribute them to?
You know, it's frustrating, you know, because most of our penalties are things that are split decisions that we could probably hold off of them, and you know, fortunately it didn't kill us today. But you keep playing that way and having penalties like that, it'll hurt you in the playoffs against great football teams. And we need to talk about it. And our guys know. Every time they do it, they know. But at some point, it's got to stop. You know. And you would feel awful if you were the guy that had a personal foul that cost us a football game. You got deal with that the rest of your life, you know, and I tell them about those things, so hopefully we can clean those up. You know, you want aggressive guys though, you know, you don't want to take that out of them, and I think we're playing very aggressive, you know, defensively, special teams, and offensive, and so we got to have a happy medium, you know.
Ben, Josh kind of touched on it, but you know, he said that the middle of the field might be, you know, open for you guys. Did you kind of know coming into this game that you could have a big day, and then how did it feel to, you know, then be able to produce?
You know, as an inside receiver, I think it's kind of an option for us to have a big day every game because we have such threats on the outside. You know, so a lot of the times that defense is worried about those guys and kind of opens some holes in the middle of the field. And they kind of gave us the same looks that we were expecting. So, you know, it worked out well for us to take advantage of that.
Can you take us through that 60-yard play that helped get you out of your own end? You and Brady disconnected.
Yeah, you know, we ran a crossing route with the outside guy, and you know, it looked like the corner kind of bit in on it, or I don't know what he was doing, but you know, Brady threw up a great ball and you know, landed right in the breadbasket. Well, unfortunately, I'm getting a little old and can't outrun anybody now, but we'll take it.
And can you maybe explain what was working so well in that first half that maybe didn't carry over to the second half?
You know, kind of hard to tell. I think the offense was just a little bit off. You know, there were throws here and there, and you know, wrong place, wrong time, and I kind of got held up on one of my routes on a third down that could have been converted. But I think it was just a couple little things here and there that didn't go our way.
Coach, the last 2 weeks, you've been dominant in the first half, both sides of the ball. Second half, you've had to withstand a bit of a run. Is there a trend or something like that developing, or is that just two isolated events and that's the way it goes some days?
You know, it's a trend I'd like to keep going as far as being fast in the first half, because we struggled on both sides of the ball of coming out and playing well. I think we've done so well and got so lopsided that it's a little bit psychological coming back out to keep that going, and you know, we got to find a way to do that, and we were just, you know, offensively we're just a little off. We miss a couple throws and those convert those third downs, then you're probably rolling, and you probably have a 10 or 12 play drive, and we just didn't do it, you know, and then you got to start thinking about then, hey, we got to win the ball game. You know, we got to find a way to win the ball game. Let's let the defense do it, and let's don't mess it up. Let's don't press to where we I call a play, we put the ball up to where they can pick it off and get an easy score. Make them score. Make them drive the field against our defense, and it's not going to happen very often.
Coach, you talk about a game being a little bit psychologic, and knowing the history of this rivalry with big comebacks on the Griz side, that make you a little more nervous once you saw 17 unanswered points going up on the board.
You don't. As a coach, I guess you can think about those things, but you're not going to talk about them with the team, and we weren't going to be on the wrong end of one of those stories of the big comeback, and it's something you think about a little bit in the back of your mind, but man, you just put your guys out there and go win the thing.
Tyrone, just your initial thoughts on now going back to Fargo and another matchup with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. They're a really good team. We've already played them once this year, and it's hard to beat a team twice. So we're going to have to get geared up and have a good game plan and go in there and try to get a win.
Josh, I think you guys started off the game with three and outs, and then you guys really started to roll offensively. What changed there in the first half?
I think just getting our confidence up in the plays that we were running, just feeling out how the defense was playing, and then seeing where we could attack them off of that.
Coach, was there something you saw in those first two possessions and then it clicked in the fourth?
We always start a little bit slow because we're trying to figure out how they're going to play us and how they're going to align to our formations. And then once we get a chance to talk them over, then we usually have a lot more success. And then it kind of starts over in the third quarter with their adjustments. And so we usually feel pretty good about our second quarter, and that we should know where to attack. And Brady did a nice job, and we had some guys make some great catches.
Couple more.
Tyrone, how does it feel to be second on the school's all-time career sack list and tackle for loss list?
I mean, it feels pretty good. I mean, it'd feel better if I had a national championship with it. So hopefully we can keep rolling.
Coach, pretty happy to still be playing, obviously. How are you guys feeling about heading to Fargo next week?
As long as we're still playing, I told our guys in the locker room, we don't care who lines up. We have to just go in and keep our head down and beat those guys. And you don't care whose jersey it is, what color it is. You just go play football. And we've had our backs against the wall for a long time now, and nobody expected us sitting. We'd be sitting here right now talking about what we're talking about right now. And everybody should have to throw a $20 bill up here that didn't think we were going to be here. And it's something that these kids continue to grind. And we're in the second round of the playoffs, and we're playing great football. We're healthy, and so proud of these guys. And they never quit, absolutely never quit. And we just kept working, and somehow we're in the second round, and we're feeling pretty dang good about it.
Good.